I heard Melissa Houston did that. She likes to do audio, so but I still have my ring light on. What does that tell you? I couldn't start without my ring light. Okay, so here's the first question, and make them short and sweet, and I'll move right through. John Warner, thank you so much for being here, and William Rochelle, and Gregory, and let's see who else we have here. We've got some LinkedIn users, and I suspect probably Damien is one of them. I'm not sure. We have Meryl here. Hi, Meryl. Cass, so good to have you here. And you know, there are men here, and the reason, and I saw Felipe as well. We have men here because these are the men that support us, right? These are the men that support us, and we appreciate you. Okay, first question, Coach Carrie. What one woman has influenced you in your life most, and why?
That's a very simple answer. It's my mother. My mother passed away at the age of 39, but prior to her passing, we all know her as loving, compassionate, generous. And one of the things that she used to say is live your life in such a way that it's a blessing for people to know you. And so I carry that with me in spirit and honor of my mother, hoping that people who meet me are blessed.
Beautiful. Oh, that's just beautiful. Um, all right. Now, Jackie, you can answer that one, or you can answer this one. What is the one word that describes the generation of women you grew up with?
Ooh, I'm going to go with that one. And I
Okay.
am going to say empowered.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Empowered. I would tend to agree. You're Gen X, right?
Yep.
Okay, I would absolutely say. Now, you know, Gen X is the sandwich generation, which is the smallest generation, I think, where homeschooling really took off like wildfire. And both of my children are Gen Xers. And I've known that to be true, that they keep their children very close to home, right? They're very mindful and protective of this smaller generation. Okay, Dr. Tanya, you can answer either. What was the one woman that influenced you? Oops, here we go. Martha. Hey, Martha, come on up to the stage. We'll add you right in. Martha Lobos Amaya is here. I'll get to you in just 1 second, my sweet friend. Okay, so you can answer either what was the woman, Dr. Tanya, that most influenced in your life, or what is the one word that describes your generation? Or is there one moment in your life when you realized women were changing the world?
Mm. Those are all great questions. I'm going to answer my mom is probably the greatest female influence. I like them all, but I'm going to add that one. You know, my mom, I watched my mom, you know, really rise in career with having very little college education, never got a degree. Yet she continued to soar and started, as I say, breaking glass ceilings, getting into banking, into mortgage lending, which was a highly male dominated profession, and watching her in the 1990s, very early, earning a six-figure income. And if you ever listen to Kenny Chesney's song, there's a song, I got to think of the title of it, but he talks about how she's dancing backwards in high-heeled shoes. And, you know, I watched my mom in her high-heeled shoes just killing it every day. And she was so inspiring to me. And I know she inspired my daughters as well. So huge inspiration to me.
That's tremendous. All right. And Leah, oh, well, yeah, let's do Leah. Okay. So any one of those questions, or when you think about the progress women have made, what makes you smile? So these may be too many choices, and I'll revise how I'm approaching this for the next question. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me. Right.
Absolutely. I love all the answers by our amazing panel. And I will, if I could toggle two together, the woman who inspired me the most was my Aunt Jerry. She was just a woman who really didn't do anything accomplishment-wise that people would recognize, but she was loving, generous, and positive always. And I don't remember the other question, but I'll just leave it there. All right, back to
Oh,
you,
that's
Queen.
great. Martha, welcome. Open your mic. And thank you so
Aw.
much for being here. I'm so happy to see you. The first
You
question
too.
yeah, thank you. Which generation are you representing today?
Gen Y.
Oh, yay! We have a Gen Y. I love it. I love it. Oh, this is really good. So let me ask you these questions. What woman has influenced your life the most and why? Or for Gen Y, a good one would be, what is the one word? This is what I think I'd love to hear that describes the generation of women you grew up with.
Yeah. So the generation of, well, Dr. Tanya, thank you for sharing about your mom too. Touched my heart with your share. My mom is definitely someone that I look up to. She cleaned
Mhm.
toilets, and I have so much respect for people who are housekeepers and people that work in gardening work, and just like
Mhm.
construction, all hands on because of my mom. Um, and that's why I think I take that lead as a hands-on person. But for my generation, I would say growing up, we had a lot of changes happening. We had 9/11. In the early 90s is when we got introduced to Apple, and it was all about change. So we had to just change. We had to go with change and learn quick. So I don't know what word I can put for that other than the word change and
Well,
process.
that's a fair word. I mean, there were
Mhm.
lots of changes, so I think that works beautifully. Now, if anyone in the audience has a question, we still have room for 3 or 4 more people. Thank you, Bobby Lee. We are awesome, aren't we? But we're only awesome because of one another and also because of you guys. Every man that's in the audience here supports all of us women. Isn't that true, ladies? Isn't it in the case, every one of them? Now, for me,
100%.
yes. For me, I have to say that my grandmothers are the people that I watched the most because both of them lost their husbands during the Spanish flu epidemic, like around 1918, 1919. And they had to, work full time to raise one. My father's mother had 3 boys, and my mother's mother had a boy and a girl. I was in awe. Oddly enough, one was in New York, one was in Boston, and they both worked in foundations. And does anybody know on the panel what foundations are?
Yes, that's their undergarments.
Thank you. Yes, Sherry, a query. Your devices are not connected. I'm so excited you're here. They will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them to the stream. So there's something you need to do, Miss Sherry, and I'm thrilled that you're going to be coming up. Okay, excellent. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to look at experiences growing up. And so I may do this a little differently. I've got 4 questions, so I think I can repeat them. All right, let's start with you, Carrie. What expectations, and these are somewhat thoughtful, but we can keep short answers. You're representing Gen X. Oh no, you're the greatest generation, but today for Gen X. What expectations did society place on women when you were growing up? You're muted, my dear Coach Carrie.
Sorry, and I was really having a great conversation with myself. So I would say for most of history, there were 3 expectations that society placed on women: marry, have children, and stay at home.
Awesome. That's fair. So your generation growing up, and now pretty much if you're a Gen X, then you're my children's age. And I didn't stay home. So by that time, when my kids came along and they're right around 50, 51, or 52, it required 2 incomes. We had gotten to the place, right, where now we needed both incomes. So thank you for that. You reminded me. And that I was out and about earning money, but You're absolutely right. From that viewpoint, that's really what it was all about. And so thank you for sharing that. So, Jackie, what messages did you hear when you were growing up as a Gen Xer, what women should do or they shouldn't do?
I heard very loud and clear through like commercials and through magazines that women were supposed to be skinny and that we were supposed to keep our voices quiet.
Mm, mhm, mhm. So, is that from the old children should be seen and not heard? Do you think that's from that?
No, I actually think it's more through media wanting to like sell cosmetics and all the stuff
Mm,
to women and give us all kinds of like self-depreciation thoughts,
mm,
keep
mm.
us in our place.
Excellent. I can't imagine that anybody ever kept you in your place, any of you, but I love that. I do. And so, Dr. Tanya, thank you, Jackie. What opportunities did you feel were open to you and which ones were closed? Did you feel like were closed to you?
You know, I mean, I never felt like opportunity was not open for me, but I didn't know what opportunity was available for me. So, you know, it was okay whatever I decided to do. Like there was really no encouragement, but really no pressure either, you know? So it was like whatever you want to do. If you just want to stay at home, mom. You want to go to school, you can go to school. But there was really never like you could really be this person. You know, who do you really want to be? You know, I was in it, and it was. I felt like that was kind of my inner family circle. My
Mhm.
external family circle was really that the men were the ones that were supposed to get big jobs and go to school and lead. And then way out, I agree with Jackie. Definitely the messages in media was that we should just be worrying about our hair and our makeup and how thin we were and what did we look like and things like that. And so,
Good.
yeah, I could talk forever, but I'm going to stop there.
Well, we're going to try to keep it short because Bill is in the audience. You know, William Rochelle, if you know him, you can call him Bill, and he's directing, and he said that we need to keep our answers short. So we're going to let him do that, and we will just follow his lead. Okay, so Leah, what opportunities? No, well, let's not do that one. 1, 2, 3. Looking back, what do you wish people had told young women in your generation?
Wow. That is an incredible question. I wish looking back that people had told us that really those dreams that we have were put there for us and we're meant to achieve them. I was very blessed to have my aunt in our household, in our family, was the first female executive at GE, General Electric, years and years ago. So she was featured on all kinds of magazines and interviews, and that was really inspiring for me. So great question. Back to you.
Thank you. Okay, and so Martha, you really get a choice. So it can be expectations that society placed on women when you were growing up, or things that you should or shouldn't do, or what positions were available to you or weren't, or what was it that you wish you had known back then?
Yeah, Leslie, I want to thank you so much for hosting this event.
You're welcome.
I'm here listening to everybody, and I'm just so inspired by each of you. Just so you all know, what a sweet moment to be sharing this with you guys. Yeah, for me, as I was just listening, I thought about dimming your light, right? Um, and we women, we don't intentionally do that, but it's been like programmed in some kind of way where we sometimes may find ourselves dimming our lights. So I would say now, as I'm in my early 40s, that no, I'm not dimming my lights. I am very independent and I'm very vocal now. And something that I wish I would have been more of in my younger days, but I am now. So that's what I would say to anyone.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, let's move on to funny or surprising moments. Now, I don't want to avoid the negatives. So I don't really have a place, but if something really upsetting has happened with you, there will be an opportunity to share that. We don't have to necessarily go there, but I don't want to take it's the good, the bad, the funny, and the ugly. So there's some unpleasant things, and I'll be happy to share those. I have no problem with that. Hey, Lisa Fevick, grab the link and come up on stage. We would love to have you. So let's go on to the funny or surprising moments. And let's start this time with Martha. Since you've always waited, you're sitting in the catbird seat if you play 21 or blackjack. But let's start with you this time. What is a funny moment when you realized times were changing for women? Now, you're Gen Y, correct? Oh, she disappeared. You don't think she disappeared because of that? Oh, no, here she comes. Hold on, let me see what we've got here. I'm going to, okay. All right, and Martha. Okay, I think we're good. We have everybody. Okay, Martha, we don't have your face, but that's okay. Welcome, Nick. All right, so let me start this question with, my mom is a silent generation, but she's anything but silent. You could see the words over here. Yes, your mother is amazing, Felipe. She's been on some of your lives. Okay, so we're going to start with Martha. This is funny or surprising moments. And welcome, Nick. We'll get to you in just 1 minute. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming up on stage. What is a funny moment when you realized times were changing for women? Do you have a funny moment, Martha?
Oh, man. That's a good question. I can't think of something right now. A funny moment.
Hey, well, hang on a second. I'll read the other ones, and then you can come in on one of those. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's go on to this one. I'll ask you this also. Have you ever been told something that you couldn't do because you were a woman that now seems ridiculous?
I was told in high school that I wasn't going to graduate high school. And then I went on to prove them completely wrong. And I graduated and got an award for overachieving my GPA and all this stuff. And so, it was a woman that told me this, but she really just inspired me to keep pushing. And then throughout the years, I just kept pushing. So that would be my example for now that I could think of. Just keep pushing.
Well, and I know what the attitude is, well, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of that too. Okay, let's open up to Nick. Hi, Nick. How are you today? Thank you for being here.
Hi, everyone. I am great. I'm sorry there might be some background noise because my husband's doing his favorite. I don't know, building something again. So happy International Women's Day to everyone. And that question.
Well, I got several questions. Do you want to answer one of the ones you've heard?
Yeah, sure. I'll answer the one that Martha just answered.
Perfect.
I think when I went into the stone industry and the elevator industry as project coordinators, and then moved up to project managers, the crews in the field, they didn't feel that as a woman that I could be in the field and be effective, and that was bullshit. Went into the field, I climbed ladders, I measured elevator shafts, I spoke to contractors, and it wasn't always easy, being one of the few females on site. But yeah, they told me I couldn't, and boy, did I prove them wrong.
So you're a Gen Xer. Does it seem ridiculous now that their view was that you didn't belong there? Do you think it's still that way? Is this something that doesn't occur now as much as it was back then as a Gen Xer?
It definitely doesn't occur as much now. Women have definitely earned their place in the field, have shown that, listen, we could wear an apron and we could wear boots just as freaking well.
We sure can. Thank you for joining the stage. And Leah, let's move on to you. what workplace or social moment made you laugh later because of how outdated it was?
Well, okay. My first job, I worked as a floater at J.C. Penney's. And I was such a good floater that they allowed me to do the PBX. Who knows what the PBX is? Nobody does. Maybe our queen does.
I do.
That means you're the announcer over the intercom. Attention, JC customers, your spring and summer catalog is now available. Okay. And I would be able to do that, but it could only be a woman who could be on the PBX. Okay. They never allowed a man to be on the PBX.
That is funny, isn't it?
And so now thinking back, it's like, I don't even know that they do that anymore, but it used to be a big, big deal. And so, yeah, now looking back, it's like, why was that such a big deal? I don't know. So that's my story.
Yes. And I'll slip in here that when I started as a stewardess, it was only women and we weren't paid much. As soon as they brought men in, all the salaries increased. So when I flew troops into Vietnam in the 60s, it was us girls, right? But no, wait, that's not true. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, yeah, it was true. And also I flew for Northwest Airlines domestically, and it was only women. But then somehow men started stepping in and the hourly wage increased. Isn't that interesting? So let's go on to Dr. Tanya. What stereotypes about women, Dr. Tanya, have you personally shattered?
Oh gosh. Well, I will tell you that when I became a head principal of a building, I was actually, the school was celebrating in 2 years their 50th anniversary of being a school. And I was the first female principal in 48 years to be head principal of the school. My predecessors were 2 men. And it was huge. Back when we were kids and we were in school, the principals and the administrative people were all men. Yeah.
Awesome. And you reminded me, now you're Gen X, right?
Correct.
Okay, so my daughter was the first weightlifter in her high school. Mm-hmm. Only men were doing weightlifting, but she was a baton twirler. So it's trying to bring someone else up here on stage. Anyway, she was a baton twirler, so she had to build up endurance. So they had to make a special place for her, right? Because it was all guys doing the weightlifting. So that is so awesome. Jackie Hallberg. So what's a funny moment when you realize that times were changing for women, or have you been told something that you can't do because you are a woman, which seems ridiculous right now?
I don't know if so this is something, instead of ridiculous, it pissed me off so bad.
Okay. Pissed off is good.
I actually worked for a Catholic agency that was like, I worked with like teen parents. It was a social service agency, but it was still under the Catholic church, and it was named with Catholic. I was off on maternity leave with my daughter. So we're only talking 26 years ago. When I came back, I was actually let go because being on maternity leave dropped my seniority, and they needed to remove one person because they lost a grant. I guarantee no males would have had that happen to them, because blown my mind. Here, Catholic Church is all about babies, and they actually retaliated against me because of regular maternity leave. And I had a cesarean, and I only did the minimum amount of time. So to me, that was like ridiculous, but it was also very infuriating.
Yes. We've actually come quite a bit of the way. And for me, who's been there, I was born in the mid 40s. So the beginning of the baby boomer generation, I've watched all of this happen. And one of my concerns is that we forget the inroads we've made and the difference that we've all made over the years as things seem to be changing the way it was. I want my children and my grandchildren to be afforded the same benefits that I had when I was growing up. So thank you for that, Jackie. And now let us go to our wonderful Coach Carrie. So let's do this one with you, Coach Carey. Now, Bill says to keep this one short. What stereotypes about women have you personally shattered? This is a perfect question for you.
Several, but to keep it short,
you went on mute again. Somehow you put yourself back on mute. There we go.
Bill probably did that.
Yes.
But my mother was an entrepreneur, and so I grew up watching a woman build a business when society said that she should be at home. And so I shattered that stereotype, just like my mother. The idea that women are not business minded, the idea that women are not ambitious, the idea that women need to be rescued, the idea that success requires you to choose between your family and your career. So I walk into rooms that my mother had to fight to get into, and I do it without apologizing, without shrinking, and without asking permission.
Oh my gosh, that is tremendous. You know, you all are such an inspiration and a light in my life, and you are the balance to our gentleman counterparts. And what I really love about our community and this community, which includes so many wonderful human beings, is how we actually work together. And I want to just take one moment. I'm not going to take you all off stage for this, but you know the backdrop is about the virtual wellness experience. And I'd like to take a short break and play a short video for you, as I can find it where it belongs. Here we go. Which is about the virtual wellness experience. I am a sponsor this year. I've been involved in it so many times, and I have so enjoyed. Oh, look, Sherry made it. And it looks like that maybe Camille made it too. Well, there's Camille. Excellent. So allow me to introduce to you the Tanya Farron, Dr. Tanya Farron, and what she has to say about the virtual wellness experience. This is coming up Friday and Saturday, March 20th and 21st. We have 15 speakers. Several are here in the audience, and it's a very relaxed telesummit and lots of benefits there. Wonderful, different topics about wellness. And it's more of an experiential event more than just sitting back and listening. So here we go, just for a few minutes.
Where else are you going to go and meet 15 experts in the realm of wellness? Well, come and join us. Meet the Presenters Week for the Virtual Wellness Experience starts this Sunday, March 8th. At 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You're going to meet each of the presenters starting Sunday all the way through Thursday, that exact same time. They're going to be live, and you're going to be able to meet the presenters. We have 15 different presenters that are presenting with us in the realm of wellness. It may be financial wellness, socialization wellness, relationship wellness. It could be physical wellness. It could be, health and fitness. So many realms of wellness. Come and join us, and then get your tickets to the Virtual Wellness Experience. See you there.
So thank you, Dr. Farron, for that video. Everyone, it's a small investment. It's a big support. And you're going to meet people who are your ideal collaboration partners, and in many cases, your ideal clients. You'll recognize some people, but you're going to meet a whole bunch of new people. And so I would love to have you consider, I'm working to bring you on here, Miss Sherry, you would be number 9. So thank you, Dr. Tanya, for that. And Dr. Tanya and Damian Kinsey are the creators of the 2350 Network. It's really interesting that I'm not able, let me try this. Sherry, it says that your devices are not connected. I am so sorry this is happening. We can just blame it on Mercury retrograde. And Camille is with us. Hello, Camille. Unmute yourself and say hello to everyone.
Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I hope you're doing well.
I am. I'm doing well. I have a little bit of a cold, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for adding me to the stage. I'm just listening to all of the comments from all of the women and all of the experiences that we have as women and how it permeates into every other facet of who we are and how we
Absolutely.
perceive things. So
which generation are you representing today? Are you in the boomers?
no, well, I'm 50. So what is that?
So you're a baby. You're a generation
Oh,
X. I was just looking
is
for,
that what that is?
I was looking
Okay.
for someone who could be with me. So,
Okay.
all right. So let's move on now. And you've been listening, so you know what we're doing. All right. So you can go ahead
Yeah.
and mute. And now we're going to
Yes.
start at the top. Can you mute yourself? I don't know. There you go. Thank you so much. Now this is the hard things. Okay. So just take a moment, ladies, to reflect. And those of you who are listening, what are the hard things that we've had to experience? So let's start with Carrie, Coach Carrie. What was the hardest barrier you personally faced as a woman?
Well, I think that the hardest barrier that I faced as a woman was probably trying to prove myself in the area of finance and math. Will say, oh, you know what? You're really good at math, when that's basically the job. And so, oh, wow, you're really good with numbers. But what most people don't realize is that I started at the age of 10 tutoring college students in math. I taught math for 20 years. And so explaining numbers just comes naturally to me. So I think having to continue to prove myself and to justify the space that I live in probably has been the most challenging.
And I really love that. I appreciate you for being a leader in finance, as is Leah. Leah has also done something similar. You're right. It was pretty much men oriented, right? Just like with flight attendants, it was all women until the men came in, and then we all got a raise. So there, we all made more money, and so there was nothing wrong with that. It's just interesting and fascinating that it took it being fair to both men and women, because both could do the job adequately, very well. There was no really differentiation between a man and a woman in that particular role. So we were glad. We were glad to have guys. We wished we had the money before, but we were certainly grateful to have it when it came in. So Jackie, have you ever, thank you, Carrie, have you ever felt underestimated because you were a woman? What happened?
Oh, honey, I still get that all the time today. That is not even something that happened a long time ago. I mean, from everything from my dad used to have big lifted trucks, from them thinking I could drive it, to driving a stick shift. They never thought a girl could do it, to the kind of jobs I've held, to running some of the meetings I do. I mean, it happens nonstop still.
Okay. So now I want to take a question from the audience here, so any one of you can answer it. So Felipe's asking, he's curious, if you had a brother, how did each generation experience being treated differently by your parents? Really great question. So I'm going to repeat that again so you can all think about it. If you had a brother, how did each generation experience being treated differently by your parents? And I'll go first. I watched my mother not get to go to four-year college because her brother did. Okay, so if I'm a baby boomer, then my mother and my uncle would have been in the seniors. And she always resented that, because she wanted to go to a four-year school. As it was, she went to a two-year school. So their mother earmarked the money. It wasn't as important for women to get a degree back then as it was for men. And that was my experience. So any one of you could answer that question. So simply unmute and answer it. I don't know that I need to see if I can bring it on stage here. Okay, there it is. If you had a brother, how did each generation, did anybody have a brother? And did you notice that you were treated differently?
I did not have a brother, but I had very close male cousins and uncles that were my age. And I saw they got to do all the cool things. They got to go fishing. They got to have mini bikes. They got to have pocket knives and things like that. So yeah, it was always like, well, why can't I have those things? I think they're pretty cool too. Great question, Felipe.
Yeah. Anyone else have a brother? Thank you for that, Leah. I know what you're talking about. It seems like they got to do the best stuff, and we didn't. Well, we were doing our things, right? But I hear what you're saying. Who else had a brother or experienced this? Anyone else want to respond to that? Okay. Thank you so much, Felipe. And ask any other questions that you have. I hope that satisfied your answer. There is a difference. In fact, in our family, I have a boy and a girl. And whenever I would do something for my son, my daughter would roll her eyes and say, oh, he's the king. You always let him get away with everything. And the reverse is also true. Whenever I would do something on her behalf, my son would say, well, how come she always gets? So that was kind of fun. All right. And Linda Meyer says that she couldn't move out until her older brother did. Oh, isn't that interesting? And then in certain cultures, the eldest daughter must be married first. But we're looking mostly here between 1900 and 2026. Okay, so we're still on hard things here. We did Jackie, and now let's go to Nick. No, excuse me. We're going to go to Dr. Tanya. I changed the order. I'm so sorry. What sacrifices, Dr. Tanya, did women in your generation have to make? What were the sacrifices you had to make? Because you are a woman. Yes, Dr. Tanya, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was
Thank
trying to
you.
answer your other question about the brother, but will you repeat this question? I'm sorry, I couldn't get my mic to work. But
Well, go ahead and answer Felipe's question. We can do that.
I have a brother. I still have a brother, and I love him dearly. We're very close. But there are definitely, my dad's side of the family, I'm Italian, I'm half Italian. And so the Italian heritage really, boasts the men in the family. The women should be in the kitchen, cooking, raising the family, which I think is fine if that's what the women want to do, if that's your choice as a woman. But the men were just really put on a pedestal. And even to this day, it's my son has entered the room, and my brother, he does not want that persona. Like, he doesn't want that to be portrayed. He's very much a supporter of females. He has a very strong wife who has a very strong, high prominent position in a banking industry. He's very supportive of me, but definitely that treatment was different from the Italian side of the family, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So let us move on. And that I'm glad you got to do that, because then I can move over and we can move over to Leah. Are we going in the right direction? Yes? Yeah. Okay. So Leah, what sacrifices did women in your generation have to make? Or the other two questions, if they pique your interest. One was the hardest barrier that you had to face as a woman and overcome. Have you been underestimated because you're a woman? Or what sacrifices did women of your generation did you have to make?
I think this answer will kind of address all of them. I actually had to make a very difficult decision to leave my ex-husband after 19 years of marriage. And, it wasn't outwardly abusive. Like, anybody who would have seen this would have thought it was a wonderful marriage. We had the house, the kids, and all the things that people traditionally expect. But it was a place where I'd lost myself. And I can't say it was him. I gave that to him. And so I had to make the decision for me, in spite of what society thought, what family thought, what friends thought. I had to live my own life for me. And that was really the most difficult thing I've ever had to do.
Mhm.
And then, you know, having the opportunity to discover this incredible career, but it's definitely been a process, right? It didn't happen overnight. So I hope that brings some value.
Yes, that's vulnerable, very vulnerable share. It was difficult. I could tell from what you were sharing. A marriage, a divorce, or a separation is one of the hardest things I think any of us, men and women, have to go through. Maybe harder for women as we've evolved because we don't have the edge. But the truth is it's devastating for both parties. I think ultimately, if not right in the moment, it does circle back around and you do feel the impact, even if you walked away and it didn't seem like it was such a big deal. It really was, and it will circle back around. I can tell you from experience that that is the truth. Okay, Martha, what progress do you think people take for granted that women have made today? So what kind of progress do people take for granted? Well, women do that, that they say today.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about being a single woman. We had pushed, about marriage and children, but now being single is empowering. It's peace. And solitude. It's not bad, peoples. It's actually really good. Enjoying your own company, enjoying your flowers, enjoying the trees, your animals, just being yourself by yourself. It's actually very empowering. And I think that wasn't accepted before. What was even my own mother mentioned to me, why don't you go to El Salvador? Maybe you'll meet a husband there. And I had to say, Mom, you're still single yourself, but it's a choice and it's not a bad choice. So I hope that answers the question, but I'm enjoying the single life very much. And I'm going to keep it that way.
I think that's great. I would, let me ask this question. I was going to answer it, but I'll ask Camille. Based on what Martha just said, let me just think this. What do you think the reason? Okay, so do you think that the fact that women are earning more now helped give the freedom to live as a single person? What I'm thinking about is that it used to be one income families. Then it moved to 2 income families. And do you think that the increase in women's ability to earn, okay, I guess something must have happened. She hopped off. Okay. So, well, let me just go right back to you then, Martha. Do you think, oh no, here she comes.
I apologize. My call dropped.
Not a problem.
So
Did you get the question?
I'm back in the chat now. I did not hear the question. You were just about to ask it.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. So Martha said that, that she is really enjoying being single on her own, and was referring back to when we were supposed to be at home, having children, etc. And it was in the 70s, around that time, when it now required, we bought bigger homes, and it required a 2-income family, and then bam, the divorces began, and that's when the latchkey children began. And we know today still single women with children are the poorest class in our country. So do you think that this newfound freedom in being alone has to do with the generation of more income?
Well, I can't really say that that's the only correlation, because there are people with a high income that are still single mothers. So it's not two separate it's a paradox in and of itself, but it's two separate ends of the paradox. So I think that you can make the best of anything. You can make the best of marriage if two people are invested, and you can make the best of single life if that's what it is for you, because I believe that to all things there is a season anyway. So if you're single, it's a single season, then why not be your happiest? Why not be your best? Why not study and learn a new craft, or learn a new hobby, or exercise, or read some books, or why not? Because
Yeah.
you have the best of yourself to offer when you do get into a relationship or into a marriage. You know, it's two whole people instead of two halves. So either way, it's you can make the best out of it because it's a season. Even if you stay married, somebody's going to pass away first. So you
a
just
good
make the
point.
best out of whatever season you're in.
Yes, good point. Very good point. And I was also thinking about, you know, we have certain beliefs, societal constraints. So, you know, there was the belief that we were doing something wrong if we didn't stay in the marriage. So with Martha,
True.
you know,
This is true.
there's a lot of work that we do on ourselves to be able to move out of what society expected of us and step out without really knowing how. And then you end up, you know, enjoying, as you say, this particular season. That's really excellent. Excellent addition. Thank you so much. So much.
Sure. You're
All right.
welcome.
You're excellent, Camille. I'm glad you're here. All right, everybody doing good. I thought this would be an hour, but we're going to go just a little bit further because I got some more fun questions here. All right, let's do this. Let's go with Coach Carey. This is looking at what needs to change. So this is about, let's see what progress. Okay, no, progress and pride. This celebrates achievement. So what progress for women are you most proud of to have witnessed? And we'll keep these real short so that Bill will stay with us. So what progress for women are you most proud to have witnessed?
I would say that what I'm most proud of is that women have the ability to manage their finances on their own. There was a time when a woman couldn't even get a credit card without her husband's signature.
That's right.
So to be able to buy a house and to live in the season of freedom and finances, I think is absolutely amazing. That actually changed, I believe, in 1974, where you could get a credit card without your husband's signature.
Yeah, excellent. I remember going to buy a car and they said, well, where's your husband? I can buy this myself. Well, no, ma'am, you have to have a husband here. We can't sell it to you unless, I mean, literally, I'm a little older. Okay, let's move on now to Jackie. Thank you. That's a really excellent point. What opportunities, Jackie, do young women today have that previous generations didn't have?
That they can be anything that they want as long as they are around the right people. You know, they can have the same kind of positions that men do in a lot of areas if people are open to that, and they can run for public office and they can change the world in so many capacities.
Excellent. Excellent. I like that. Dr. Tanya, when did you first feel your voice truly mattered? I somehow see you as your voice mattering when you were 3, but backing up.
Probably right. I would really say, you know, life is an evolution, obviously. And, you know, I would say probably really once my 40s hit, I really started finding my voice of what I really wanted to do in life, and became, you know, cheering myself, encouraging myself, and, you know, stepping into roles that were going to lead me into the direction that I am in now and where I am.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm looking over here and I see Coach Carey said women were not able to wear pants in the U.S. Senate in the 90s. When I was in high school in the 60s, women couldn't wear patent leather shoes because they insisted it reflected up their dresses. That's how stupid it was.
I remember my mother saying that. Many times.
Okay, let's move on. Leah, what still needs to change looking at the future focus? Where do you think that women face the biggest challenges today?
I think it's finding our own voice. I think that so many times we talk about lifting up other women, and I think that unfortunately sometimes we give a lot of word salad to it. And I think that we need to take action into actively lifting each other up, building each other up. It doesn't mean that we have to be competitive with one another. I can love and adore Coach Carrie for who Coach Carrie is, and Jackie and Dr. Tanya and Martha. And I'm sorry, I don't know what your name is down there, but we can Camille. We can all shine. And it doesn't mean that we have to put down anyone else, right? I always told my kids, you don't have to, if you're great, just be great. You don't have to put anyone else down to be great. Just do you.
Beautiful, beautiful response. Thank you. Martha, what stereotypes about women still exist?
Well, stereotypes, people think we're married. I know. I automatically, you have a mister. What else? You have children. There's a lot of different types of scenarios, but sometimes the judgment comes before getting to know the person. And that happens a lot. Even as a single parent, comments that come out. So yeah, it's just get to know the person, get to know us women before you judge.
Excellent, excellent. Camille, let me ask you that same question. What stereotypes about women still exist? You are on mute, Camille. I'm watching like a hawk to see if she's unmuting. Okay, I'm going to move on to Coach Carrie and Camille. Oh, okay, she's out again. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, sorry, I'm back on deck again. And this time I did hear the question.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry if I'm interrupting somebody.
No,
my
it's okay,
call
honey.
dropped again. I heard my name again, and I heard a question.
That's
of
right.
Stereotypes that women still deal with today. Was that the question?
Yes. Which
Okay.
stereotypes still exist?
Well, that we are supposed to be subservient. We have to bend and bow and proffer ourselves because we're not supposed to be as strong or the smartest person in the room or the most experienced candidate on deck. We're supposed to follow. And a good teacher is also a student, and we do lead as well as follow. But at the same time, we can't only follow and we can't only be the student. Sometimes we have a lot to give, and that still isn't appreciated because one of the stereotypes is that we have a place and that we're supposed to stay in our place. And that still plagues women today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. Let's move up over to Coach Carrie, and we're still looking at transitions for the future. What conversations, Coach Carrie, about women's equality are still difficult to have?
Well, I don't know that for me, there are many conversations that are extremely difficult to have. But I think in terms of having those conversations, that in 2026, the change in the conversation should be about trusting women for leadership and expertise without us constantly having to prove it first. The stereotype is that women are too emotional for leadership, that we're better suited for support roles, as Camille just mentioned, and that we're less capable in fields like finance and strategy and decision making. And I would offer that if we had a female president of the United States of America, I'm just curious as to what that might look like, given that some of the decisions being made appear to be somewhat emotional.
Oh, you mean the current decisions?
Absolutely.
I just got to say amen, Coach Carrie. Thank you for saying that, lady.
Yes, that's what I love about a voice. Don't you love that? You know, one of the things that plays into all of this, and women, certainly from the year 2000 on, we've only really been in business, bona fide, full-time business since right around 2000. And when we came in to the workplace full-time, we came in with all the behavioral characteristics, beliefs, and the way of doing things as the homemaker. We thought differently. We were the nurturers. If somebody had a boo-boo, we would fix it right up. Now, men have always been the context for business. They don't fix boo-boos, right? They're not there for nurturing. They're there to do business. And women have been ignored, not intentionally, by both male and female business leaders, because our behaviors, the superficial behaviors, clash so badly with the behaviors and the context of men and the male context of business. People stop listening, and they don't know that they're not listening. I've done a lot of work on this since 2013 with the IWPR, the Institute for Women's Policy Research, and have taught women for many, many years the physical behaviors that they do inadvertently that clash, like in a networking event. That is, low-cut shirts, lots of jewelry, hands on hips, crossing legs, fixing hair. All those physical extraneous behaviors were part of, and certainly not adverse in mentoring or managing a household. But if you look at the context, it's business casual. It's men standing with their arms by their side. And most of all, they speak in bullet points. Women tended to tell the whole story because that's what was required when we were fixing a boo-boo or keeping peace as a homemaker. And we'd always been homemakers, so we're masterful at managing. And so the problem for women, as I saw it, and my work for at least a decade, was teaching women how to stop telling the whole story, how to dress one step up above where you're going, to wear business casual, to really match the context like a chameleon so that people would start listening to them again. And the one quick thing I'll share is, this happens if you've ever been around a table with men and women. It doesn't matter where you are, you're discussing an issue, and it's your turn and you say something and nobody says anything. And then a couple of people down, the man says exactly what you said. And everybody goes, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that. What's happened is, as you lean over to your friend, did I not just say those words? You did. But they didn't even know that they didn't hear you because of all the clashes in context. But I'm going to go on because that is an area that I've done a lot of work in. And so to add to what's been said is, it's a particularly difficult challenge for us to be accepted as equals in 21st century business, but it is improving. It's improving, definitely. Coach Carrie, who was the last? Or was Jackie, are you next?
Jackie is next.
Yeah, because I was telling her to preach on. So
I heard that. I heard
one more, and then I need to get off here.
Okay, let's do, because we're already
This is great,
3:15. Let's go. It is something to think about. We really have had, we're just about done here. We really have had a very difficult challenge, right? To be heard in business. And we have to really start with ourselves, like in anything else. But first, it's what are we wearing? How are we standing? Do we tell the whole story? You can observe what men are doing. And if women begin to do that, it doesn't mean you lose any femininity at all. It just means you don't run your mouth. It just means that you don't have cleavage, because that's what men are going to look at. Sorry, but it's the truth. They're not going to listen to you if you have that. Okay, wisdom across the generations. Let's start with our wonderful Jackie. This is about encouraging mentoring. What advice would you give to your younger self, Jackie?
Oh my gosh, we could go on for hours with
I
this.
only have 10 seconds. No.
Let me pick something quick. I would say the people that bash you most are not happy with themselves, so don't listen to them ever.
Oh, bam. Oh, that is phenomenal. Say that again.
The people that bash you the most are not happy with themselves, so don't even listen to them. Focus on yourself and do what feels right.
And that's a quotable quote. That is wisdom. Because it's taken me a lifetime, Jackie, to understand that.
You and me both, girl. Thank you so much for having us today, Leslie. This was amazing.
Oh, well, I'm rushing to get us finished, and I don't want to cut it off soon, but I'm so happy to have you here. I thought we'd be done sooner, but I'm glad every one of you is here and you're hanging out. Nick is working at home and she's listening. She's answering on the comments. Okay, let's go to the next question. Dr. Farron, what advice would you give girls growing up today?
Oh, to just dream as big as they can possibly dream, and to continue to seek out new job opportunities. Find out what you love and go for it. Keep going for it and keep talking about it until you get exactly what you want. And then don't be satisfied and go get more.
Oh, this is really truly wisdom across the generations, isn't it? And Leah, thank you for that, Dr. Farron. And Leah, what qualities do women need the most to succeed today?
Courage. You need courage. I say never see failure as failure. It's just an opportunity to practice your technique and perfect your performance. I think that we're so afraid to fail and make a mistake and say the wrong thing and make the wrong decision. We have to trust our inner voice, trust our intuition, and like Dr. Tanya said, keep moving forward.
That's amazing. This is really, I love how this is shaping up. So let's go into what we can do next. This is our call to action. If we don't have a call to action, nobody does anything, really. I mean, you have to tell people what to do, right? So there needs to be some sort of call to action. I love this conversation. What am I going to do next? What step am I going to take? So let us start with Martha. What is one action that women can take today to lift other women up?
Be a role model.
Why did you pick that?
Because everyone is competing. It almost feels like, the egos get in the way. It's more not competing, but the egos get in the way. So be a role model. There's new generations coming and we're getting older. So be a role model to other people and just be kind.
Brilliant. Oh, this is my favorite part so far. I've loved it all. Camille, how best can women support each other more effectively today?
So I think that women can more effectively support each other today, with check-ins, with supporting one another's business endeavors, and to be support versus competition, sharing information, and just being that yes. There's a lot of no's in life, and just to be that yes, or to bring that, close that gap, or to bring that information, or to just genuinely give and share.
I love it. That's really, Yes, I just make sure that we're all connected. Camille, I don't know if we're first connections, but I would love to be connected with you. And I'm
Oh,
sure
absolutely.
excellent. We only have a few more questions left, and then we'll be complete with this part. I believe completion is
Okay.
important. So thank you, Camille. All right, Coach Carey.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Coach Carey, what responsibility do we have in your view to the next generation?
I think the responsibility, which is really a great question, the responsibility that we have to the next generation is to leave the path clearer than we found it. Doing exactly what Camille talked about by sharing knowledge, by opening doors, and by being the example, showing the next generation what leadership and what independence looks like. I that call to action of actively supporting other women's voices in rooms and spaces where we're still being underestimated, and collaborate and stop competing for limited seats and start building the tables together.
Beautiful, beautiful. And now, Dr. Tanya, if you could start one movement today for women, one movement for women tomorrow, if you could start one movement for women tomorrow, what would it be? What would you call it?
Gosh, that's a big one. If I could start a movement for women tomorrow, I think it would be along the lines of what everybody else has been saying. I wanted to say, because I think of my answers as you're going through all of them. I don't have one for this one other than when we talked about helping others, opening the door, but also extending the hand. And so it would be kind of something along the lines of lifting up, a lifting up movement. So it's not just that we're opening the door for them, but we're going to give them that hand. We're going to pull them back up here with us. And we're going to say, let me show you. Let's go. Let's do this together. There's plenty of room for everybody. So maybe opening the door and lending a hand.
That's phenomenal. And Nick here says, I feel we can uplift other women today by choosing to step back and allow or encourage her to step up. Shining the spotlight on another does not mean you are standing in the shadows. Well said. All right. Now, there's one question left for each of you. It's all the same question. This is the closing question for this event, and I want to thank you all for being here, for those who were here and had to leave, for those who have listened, for those who are team replay. This is a group of women that do lift up others and that are heart-centered servants, as far as I know. Each of you, and to Martha's point about being a role model, people will follow the behaviors you exemplify. So if you're exemplifying virtue and values and kindness, others will mimic your behavior just like little ducklings and their mama. So here's the final question. And we'll start with Leah. If the women who come after us, I'm starting again. If the women who come after us were sitting in this room 50 years from now, what would you hope they would say about us?
That we gave them the mind shift to be 50 times better. They can't be 1% better. They can't be 10% better. They got to move and have exponential growth. If our children are not surpassing what we did, and if our young ladies are not surpassing what we did, then we failed. It is our fiduciary responsibility to make sure the next generation is better, just like Coach Carey was saying, better than we are. Great question, Queen.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you so much. So to you, Martha, if the women who come after us were sitting in this room 50 years from now, what would you hope they would say about us?
Yeah, oh man, as Leah was talking, I was thinking and then it went away.
You want me to come back to you?
Oh,
So-
yes, please.
Okay. Okay. It's hard, isn't it? It's really hard sometimes because it's, not a problem. Camille, so the same question to you. If the women who come after us were sitting in this room with us 50 years from now, what would you hope that they would say about us?
That we persevere and that we're strong and that we are going to be faced with challenges. There is nobody on earth that is not faced with challenges, but it's a decisive action to take the head of the giant every time you stand in battle. And battle looks like many things. And so to have that crystallized image of what strength looks like, of women who have gone before them, who have jumped over hurdles, who have surmounted the different isms that hold people down and oppress people and keep people back, that you just keep going anyway, and that you eventually get there, wherever there may be. You just keep pressing forward.
Incredible. And Dr. Tanya, those women, what would they say about us? What would you hope that they would say about us?
Thank goodness they blazed this trail for us. Thank goodness that they didn't stop at their first rejection, their first no, their first person that told them to sit down, to stop talking, to not try something because you're not good enough, that you don't look the right way, you don't talk the right way, you don't dress the right way, that we went ahead and kept going, even in the signs of adversity, and we did not stop for them.
These are wonderful, wonderful. This is a wonderful, powerful closing to this conversation. Coach Carrie, so the women who come in after us are sitting in this room with us. What would you hope that they would say about us? I would love it if we were all still here, but we won't be in 50 years. What would they say about us?
Well, they'll be speaking to me directly because I will still be here. but 50 years from now, I would want the women sitting in that room to say, wow, the women of 2026 made a decision to stop thinking only about survival and really started thinking about ownership. They started thinking about legacy. They started thinking about generational wealth, that we learned how money works. We invested with intention. We protected our families, and we built assets that were designed to outlive us. So if we do our job well, many of those women should already be millionaires by design, because we're going to build that foundation before they even get here. And in particular for Black women, this is more than just breaking barriers. It's about building wealth that is strong enough to shift the financial trajectory of our families for generations to come.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. And Nicole says, for the next generation of women, we say, we built our legacy. Now you build yours. No one writes your story. Thank you for that, Nicole, and all of these. And I am so glad. Oh, that was Leah. One of the benefits of doing audio is that you can actually comment. I just realized that. You guys, thank you for doing that. So for me, what I hope they would say is, thank you for insisting that we listen to you, Nana, that we heard your voice and your wisdom above all the cacophony that's going on. And thank you for creating a path that we can follow with integrity and value and virtues. And with that, to all of our audience members, all of you on stage, and those who have been on stage, and those who attempted to get on stage but could not get on stage, this has been a wonderful exercise in gratitude and sharing our voice today to recognize the strength that women have together, what we've come through, and what we will stand strong for. moving forward for our next generation and the one after that. And with that, I bid you all a beautiful International Women's Day. And I'm grateful that you invested this time into this event that we can all go back and listen to how wonderful, shining we were. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Here
much.
comes-
So much. Thank you, Queen.
You're welcome. And here comes the outro. Wow, that was really fun.
That was so fun. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Fun.
You guys, thank you so much for being here. You know, I went out for a quick lunch with my son and his two daughters, and I was thinking, usually after lunch on Sunday, I take a nap.
I was
But, you know,
wondering when nap time was coming in for you, Leslie.
oh, they can all still hear. It says the stream is still going.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Hi,
interesting.
everybody.
Well, let me just, hi, everybody. Good thing we didn't say anything we shouldn't.
Right.
I already said, all right, well, we're going to do this again then. Here we go.